The most famous native of Viteps, Mark Shagal, is one of the most remarkable representatives of the global avant-garde movement of the 20th century. The famous artist created paintings and illustrations to poetry by André Breton, Blaise Cendrars, Guillaume Apollinaire, decorations to the Helico Belli by Leonide Messine, and the Firebird by Georges Balanchine, and interior of the Opera Garnier in Paris, as well as sculptures, ceramics, graphics. Being far away from Viteps, the painter never forgot his hometown, its roofs, churches and people. By the way, people are portrayed in every single painting by Mark Shagal. The Mark Shagal Museum in Viteps boasts one of the world's biggest collections of the artist, over 300 original graphic works and reproductions of his most famous paintings. Besides the museum, Viteps has the Mark Shagal Art Center, 2nd Putna Street, that hosts exhibitions of the artist's graphic works and traditional Shagal readings that brings together researchers who study the life and the works of the Belarusian genius.
When it comes to people whose names went down in history, we can't help mentioning Yehuda Pen, also known as Yuri Pen, who was born on the 5th June 1854 in Zarsai, Lithuania. He was a major figure of the Jewish Renaissance in Russian and Belarusian art at the beginning of 20th century. Pen's most famous student in Vitebsk was the would-be great Jewish painter Mark Shagal. Yuri Pen was known as a person of great generosity and inspiration. In 1879, he left for St. Petersburg and took the entrance exam at the Imperial Academy of Fine Arts. Although he lacked the necessary passport, he managed to remain there and in 1881 obtained permission to attend classes. His teachers were the greatest Pavel Chisyakov, Valentin Serov, and Mikhail Rubet. He was eventually admitted as a student and graduated in 1886.
He returned to Dvinsk for a time, then moved to Riga, where he got involved in the local artistic circles and got acquainted with Ilya Repin, who had an estate along Dvina, where the Peredvizhniki got together. In 1891, on his friend's advice, he settled down in Vitebsk and a year later opened the first Jewish private art school in Belarus. He catered to many poor students who were unable to gain admission to the larger academies. All they needed was a sponsor. Pen's pupils were Ilya Mazin, Yefim Meyin, Oskar Mishaninov, Mark Chagall, Osip Zutkin, Leon Gaspard, and Elzy Lisitsky. Pen was violently murdered at his home in Vitebsk on the night of 28 February in 1937. The exact circumstances of his death have never been clarified. He was buried in the Jewish cemetery here. The bronze bust on his grave has been stolen twice. The vast majority of Pen's major works are located in Belarusian museums. A gallery devoted to his masterpieces has been created in Vitebsk. His works are also kept at the Vitebsk Art Museum and the National Art Museum of the Republic of Belarus.